Okay, I think we can start, and if anyone joins us, then they will join us later. Hello and welcome to all of you that have decided to join us today. I hope you can hear me. Can you confirm it somehow? Anyone?
We can hear you.
Great, thank you. That's really helpful. Can you see also my presentation?
We see.
Great, thank you. Okay, so once again, welcome. It's a second edition of our webinar. Let's talk about the Baltic Sea. We are really happy that you have joined us today. And this webinar is part of SHORE project, a mission Ocean and Waters initiative funded by EU's Horizon Europe Research and Innovation Program. Please note that this session is being recorded. We are delighted to welcome all participants from 11 different countries. It's great to have you here. And before we begin, we would like to introduce ourselves to you. I'm Alex, and I'm a marine biologist from Institute of Oceanology. And today here is with me also Tomasz Kijewski, also a biologist from Institute, the same one as me. And some pictures of us here once again. And this is also Isa, who is co-organizing this webinar together with WSB University. But today she couldn't join us because of her health challenges, but she is very happy and glad that you all decided to join this webinar. So warm greetings from her too. And right now, I believe we can start.
Yep.
Okay.
Audio, šta je audio?
Could you maybe mute yourself because we can hear you unless you have some questions. Of course, for starters, if any of you have any questions at any point, you're more than welcome to ask us any questions you would like. So just stop us and ask your questions. So for starters, any questions? If not, then we will start.
Yep.
Okay, so for starters, I will begin the topic of the biodiversity in Baltic Sea. And the trigger question here is just a warm-up before everything, is what makes this biodiversity of the Baltic Sea unique compared to other seas. But what really biodiversity for starters is. So biodiversity is being explained as number of species that is living in different areas, for example, in the Baltic Sea, and how many species different there are. So, for example, this could be given in if we speak about not very marine topic, but let's say about breeds of dogs. So how many breeds of dogs live, for example, in Sopot, where I live, in Poland, coastal city. So this can be transferred to any environment, also to the marine environment and the Baltic Sea. So biodiversity explains in numbers of how many different species are living in a given area. So why this biodiversity could be anyhow unique in any of the regions, and for starters in the Baltic Sea, is because of different conditions of different locations. And Baltic Sea, as we spoke in the first webinar of this, let's talk about the Baltic Sea webinars sessions, was that the Baltic Sea is a very characteristic shallow and pretty enclosed apart from Danish straits. basin, and it is brackish water, so it's not fresh water for all, and it's not typical marine water in the meaning of salinity. So it all has an impact on how the life is evolving in this aquarium. And here you can see on the left the map of how species are taking different parts of the basin in the Baltic Sea. So you can see that the closer to the Danish Straits, the darker orange color is, which means it's more saline. And in those parts that are more of higher salinity, then you can find more species living there. So it's harder for more species to get used to those varying conditions that are in the majority of the Baltic Sea with lower salinity. But it is possible, and this is why Baltic Sea is unique, because it is a home not only to typical marine species, but also to some of freshwater species. And some of examples can be, for example, fish like perch. And the contrast to this is marine species like cod or herring. And there are more species like this that can get used to those varying conditions, and it makes a unique environment, which is not happening a lot in other basins. Okay, so speaking about biodiversity, as I started, number of species that are accommodating Baltic Sea in this subject is not very large. And this is also because of the first thing I've mentioned, so the conditions in this sea, and the fact that not many species are able to adapt to those conditions. But we have life in our sea. Many people think that it is very poor. And in terms of number of species, that is true, but it's not true for full, to be honest, because of the fact that we have a life. And here this slide is presenting why. So we have over 700 different species of phytoplankton. So it's like microscopic plant organisms that are passively floating. We have also zooplankton, so it's like single-celled multicellular living organisms like rotifers, and I will be talking more about it later. Crustaceans, copepods, and more really small organisms like animals that are living in the sea. And they are really important for the life in the sea and its conditions and everything. It's not like you can see it with a naked eye for most of the cases, but it is fascinating, and they are beautiful in their own way also. And phytobenthos, plants, algae associated with the bottom, this is something larger, so this you can see with a naked eye. Zoobenthos, animals that live on the bottom. The estimation here is that in the Baltic Sea there are about 1,000 species of those, and nekton that is large, and it also consists of fish, so about 100 species, and 4 species of seals for marine mammals. So everything that is large and can swim, it's nekton. And how it differs in comparison to other seas. For example, for Mediterranean Sea, that is being recognized as one of the most biodiverse seas in Europe, is because there has been some calculations that there are about 17,000 species living in this sea. So this is how it differs. So for the Baltic Sea, it's about I don't know, maybe 4,000 species, 3,000 species that we know that live in the sea. And this richest area, like Mediterranean Sea, is about 17,000 species. It's like huge difference. And yes, but this is different, like it's because of those different conditions that the sea is providing for those animals. And each of those seas are unique in their own way. And yeah, they are precious for the life, and we have to take care of it. So, speaking more about Baltic Sea, the coastal line differs for the whole basin. We have some rocky coast and we have some sandy coast, and this all like also affects what is living in the water and in the surroundings. Uh, for the Baltic Sea, some of the species also are merging both on the sandy and rocky coast, so they are the same, but some that differ are, for example, here some of the plants that can attach themselves better to sandy coasts, and here you can have a look how this life differs on those two images attached to the presentation. The right side is the map, just to give an idea on how much of different sediments, so what is on the seabed, is in the Baltic Sea. So, for example, yellow color is a sand, and then green color that is really in many parts of the Baltic Sea is mud. So the type of the bottom that is here described also has its effect on what species will be inhabiting those areas. Okay. Um, Progressing with the subject of biodiversity and the uniqueness of Baltic Sea, we have to mention microscopic species importance. So here is a question for you. How do you think, what is the role of microscopic species in the Baltic Sea? You have some answers on the slide. I don't know if any of you would like to answer the question of this is the time for you to have your voice raising up. Okay, if no one really wants to answer, the second option is true. So microscopic species in the Baltic Sea play a crucial role in maintaining ecosystem by producing oxygen, recycling nutrients, and serving as the base of the food web for larger organisms. And this rule is really important. So you can see that not always the number of species is the most important. For our basin specifically, what matters here is also what lives inside, and we have a lot of those microscopic species that on a daily basis we cannot see, but they do their work for us. Okay. And when we're speaking about microscopic species, I cannot not mention cyanobacteria, which you probably already know about. That this is an organism that was microscopic organism that once was classified more as algae. And it's in a between because it's for real bacteria, but because of the fact when it is reproducing of the green color that appears on the water, and everything is blooming and gives us those traditional Baltic Sea images of eutrophication. So the term that I've mentioned on the previous webinar, that the waters are blooming because of the algae and bacteria growth. Everything is developing too fast in terms of the algae and the bacteria, and then the oxygen is limited to the lower parts of the water, and the life is not so good if this condition is prolongated. Okay, so this is how cyanobacteria looks like in a zoom. But when talking also about biodiversity, are there endemic species in the Baltic Sea? And what endemic species mean? Endemic species is the species that is limited to small geographic area. So it has developed within, for example, the Baltic Sea, and nowhere else in the world you can find it. And according to my knowledge, up to this day, we don't really have those species in the Baltic Sea, but the most recent discovery of scientists from Sweden says that we have some kind of this species that might be like this, and it is a fish eating herring. So for typical herring does not really eat other fish, but more plankton. And here, this herring fish, another species, subspecies, would be completely different according to their descriptions in terms of its physiology, and it is also eating other fish. And yeah, so maybe now it's time for your questions if you have some up to this moment, or if you have any questions to the presentation or something else that you would like, now you could ask them if you would like to. Okay. If not, maybe Tomasz, we can proceed.
Yeah. Anyway, we prepared some questions. So if you can switch the slide.
Yeah. Okay, so
I have a question.
oh yeah. Okay, nice. Give it a shot.
What is the most popular endemic in your country?
So as I said, that we don't really have those endemic species because we are located in Sopot currently, so it's in a Polish coastline. If we are speaking about marine species, and this is what we can speak really about today with us, because we represent Institute of Oceanology. So we talk about marine species mostly, unless Tomasz, you are more confident in some others. But if we are speaking about endemic species in marine environment in Poland and in general in the Baltic Sea, I don't know about any truly endemic species. There were a lot of discussions among scientists about some of those species but they always ended up in a way that no, we don't really have true endemic species, because they always have originated and came to us mostly from Atlantic Ocean and somehow adapted to our environment. Tomasz, if you have anything to add.
Yeah, I would add just Baltic is very young sea. So the species is inhabiting in Baltic, they had no time to make them real species specific to the Baltic.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you for this question. Any others? Okay.
Okay, let's switch the slide.
Yeah. Okay, so we had prepared some questions too, unless you wouldn't ask us some questions, but since we have some time for, I don't know, which question would you like me to answer, because we have time for one. First or second? Okay, I can choose. Okay, so maybe I will, to close it up with my presentation, what conservation efforts are ongoing regarding Baltic Sea biodiversity. So biodiversity is really important in terms of how ecosystem works, because although like we have many species in Baltic Sea, it's not that rich, but since there are not very many species, we have to take care of what we have in our sea, because the trophic chain is really short. So meaning that there are not many species, and if one drops out of this ecosystem, then it has a great impact on the rest of the ecosystem. And of course, in biology and in environment, as it usually is, marine ecosystem will survive, and there will be some changes. So for example, here the discovery of this different herring that is predator and it's eating other fish is for example an answer, I think, to the environmental changes, and it is a change in biodiversity. So some species are appearing, others are disappearing. Like for example, the situation of the cod is not very good for a long time, and in some parts it is already of the Baltic it is already lost, while in other parts of the Baltic it is still there, but its health is poor. So the efforts on like to progress with the biodiversity in the Baltic Sea in a good way is that HELCOM, so the commission that is researching and taking care of the Baltic regions, is progressing with its special plan and developing protection areas for the parts of the Baltic Sea that require those, and is preserving some areas important for some species and protecting those species that have special meaning to the environment and to people, because it's all also about how communities can manage, for example, the loss of the cod or other fish or other organism, because it has all impact for our everyday life, and mostly for coastal life communities, but also even for other people that are not maybe located that close to the sea, it can have also an effect. So yeah, how to conserve, we all need to take care, educate each other, and if we can take active part in preserving environment by taking action, and like you today, listen to presentations and share it later on with anyone we know, I think this is the best answer. So for my presentations, I would say this is it, but let's hear more fascinating facts about fish from Tomasz. And for starters, if you could choose one Baltic species that truly stands out, whether for its beauty, uniqueness, or surprising traits, which one would it be, Tomasz?
Well, I love all of them. Alex, mute yourself. I love really all of them, but my favorite one is big fish. I would say it's, can you switch slide? It's one of the biggest fish in the Baltic, and it's salmon. I got one here. It's a mascot, of course. Well, this is a big fish, and it is not restricted just to the Baltic. It occupied the whole northern hemisphere in the Atlantic and Pacific, but we have some salmons in the Baltic, and I'd like to tell you something about them. It is quite big fish. It grows to 1.5 meters and weighs over 25 kilograms. And it's as a big fish, it's a quite important predator in the Baltic. It feeds on crustaceans and other fish. Must be smaller than it, and it's closely related to two other species living around. It's sea trout and trout, just trout. What is important about this fish is that it is a wanderer, as I titled this presentation. It lives in the sea, but when times come to make some offspring, make some new salmons, they go to the rivers and they lay eggs in upper streams. So the travel is very, very far and very, very hard for them because they need to jump over the waterfalls and go in cold water far away from the sea. It would be not a very big thing if you think about this, but it's very tough thing to the marine fish because marine water is salty and fresh water in the rivers could actually kill them because of the lack of salt. So they are prepared by the nature to switch between these two environments. And they change the shape, then change their color, they stop feeding, and going, as I said, to the upper streams and trying to lay eggs, like 30,000 eggs from one female. Can you switch? Due that they dig little holes in the riverbeds, and some geologists say that they actually form these riverbeds. They move gravel in the riverbeds and some way shaping them. Of course, if they go to the rivers, they bring their biomass because after laying eggs, they just die. So some animals like birds love to feed on them, and some corpses enriches the soil around these places in the mountains. So biomass from the ocean, from the sea, goes to the mountains and brings biodiversity and brings biomatter to these places. It's quite important for these land environments. Can you switch the slide? And of course, they have some problems with humanity. I would say about 3 of them only. One is quite obvious, water pollution. If you pollute water, the water is not very nice for fish, for wild organisms. It's obvious. Another one is overfishing. We love to eat these fish. They are very tasty, they are very healthy. So we people catch them a lot, tons. If we do it in some bad manner, if we fish them too many, they just could be disappeared from the environment. So we need to take a look on them and take care on them. Another problem for these fish is water dams. Damming rivers is very hard for them to reach the places where they lay eggs. Look at the map on the right. This is Vistula River. And this red point is place where that dam you can see above by this was built in 1970s. After setting this dam, all this area you can see reach of rivers on the map just these fish just disappeared from there because they cannot pass this dam. So all places in the south of Poland where they used to lay eggs, they are just not available for these fish. It is until now a big problem for salmon. Okay, next slide, please. How we can manage this our need for eating salmons and protecting them from overfishing. The best way, it appears, to breed them and farm them. You can see here some cages where salmons are growing. It is not provided in Poland in Baltic Sea because Baltic is not good for fish farming, but in Norway, in some other countries like UK or Argentina, Chile, the fish is farmed in cages like these. Of course, we have control. Of course, we have plenty of fish to eat to our market, and it's quite well. But we need to take care of them because if they are closed in such cages, they easily get ill. They easily get some parasites. So fish farmers needs to give them some medicine, some drugs, antibiotics or so, and this is not good for environment. You can imagine easily. So it is quite important to manage this fish farming. Aquaculture is called aquaculturing. Manage this aquaculturing very wise and very delicate for environment. To choose the place where we will farm fish, to choose the medicaments and so on. And of course, feeding them is another problem, because if we need to feed salmon, we need to give them some other fish to eat. So anyway, we need to fish some other fish to make food for salmonids. Of course, it is sometimes mixed with some soybeans or so, but farmers they have to take care of composition of this fodder, because if they give salmons too much soybeans, the meat is not good for human. Okay, that's it from me. If you have some questions, it's the right moment. I'm yours. Okay. Come on, Biliana Agic. Connection. I see some boy raising hands, but I can't hear you. I think you okay.
Hello.
Hi.
Our scientists scared of extinction of salmon because they in the Baltic Sea because they catch them so much.
Do you?
Well, we did catch them so much, but we all countries around the Baltic they can agree about some limiting the catches. So still salmon is in quite good condition in Baltic. It's not plenty of fish, of course, but they are somehow sustainable.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions?
Hello, I just typed in my question from Trzecie Liceum w Gdańsku. What's
Okay.
the healthiest type of fish to eat, please?
Please say it again.
What is the healthiest type of fish from the Baltic to consume?
Okay, the healthiest fish is actually young fish. As they grow older, they take into their body some contaminants. So especially flatfish, if they are big, if they old, they are less healthy than young fish. But salmon is quite good still. I mean, for eating, they have some health problems for themselves, but for eating, they are quite safe.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? We have some prepared, so don't worry.
We do seem to have one question.
Mhm.
Karina, could you come here, please? So we've got one question here from one of the students. She's approaching the microphone. She wants to ask about what is the most common type of fish to farm? Yeah.
Well, in northern hemisphere, I would say it is salmon. But in southern, especially in Asia, China, they have plenty of species of fish. I would say panga is most common and most abundant, but it's not good fish, frankly.
Why is it not good?
Because it's catfish and the feeding behavior is like feeding, how to say it, the worst matter, biomatter in the river, I would say. As a catfish, you know what catfish is, and they are farmed in some places that's badly spoiled with chemicals, some polluted places. So panga is at bad places and at not nice feeding behavior.
Tomasz, but sorry, but those questions inspired me. Thank you for that. And I have to ask you because we talk here a lot about which fish is healthy to eat and yeah, in general, what fish we can eat. So, but when you buy fish in the market, do you need to worry about it, or it's like it is safe for you anyways? And anyways, do we need to really be threatened by eating fish? How much fish we eat at all? Like, can you maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a very good question. Well, actually, any fish, any product we have on our market to eat is in some way tested for its safety. So whatever we can choose for our shelves or shops, it's safe for eat. Of course, every fish in the ocean is some way contaminated in nature way or in unnature because of human activities. But these amounts of toxins like heavy metals, for instance, are very low and are safe for us. Until we don't switch into fish diet. If you could, if you would like eat some salmons or tuna fish only and only for breakfast, dinner, and supper, and weeks by weeks, of course you can harm yourself. But no one do it. Average human on Earth eats like 20.5 kilograms seafood, not just fish, thin fish, but all seafood, 20.5 kilograms per year. In Poland, it's like 8-9 kilograms, maybe 9 kilograms per year. So we don't get close to these amounts of heavy metals and other pollutions from fish. Yeah, I see it.
Do you have poisoned fish in your sea?
Well, there are some. What do you see? What do you mean in poison? Some fish can be poisoned because we have spoiled ocean. We have intoxicate ocean, and in some places the fish is not as healthy as it could be. But there are some species of fish in Pacific Ocean that would kill human just by eating it because they contaminate natural toxins. It's fugu fish. Some people could die eating fugu fish, but you are freezing.
Someone needs to be a good chef to prepare this fish.
Yeah,
And I still would be worried about myself eating it.
it's very tough.
Okay, any other questions?
Got something in chat? Oh. Okay. Yeah, it was told.
So maybe I will ask you one more question, if that's all
Sure.
right. Okay. So what are the main differences between farmed and wild fish in terms of their environmental impact?
Yes, I told some. Yourself. I told some thoughts about this. You need to give them some medicine. You need to give them antibiotics. And when the cages are in the ocean, in the fjords or so, you actually put this medicine into the environment. So this is main threats from aquaculture. Another is just waste. When the fish eats, then poops. So thousands of fish in one place make a lot of poop. The environment could be very badly spoiled around the fish farm. So this is a real threat for environment.
Yeah, well, okay. Yeah. So this can actually have a cascading effect because then, for example, it can be a very good environment for algae and bacteria to grow. Am I right?
Right.
And
Some fish farmers, they use shells, bivalves, to clear waters around the aquaculture place. How many eyes do fish have? Obviously, two. Anyone question? What we can do to protect the sea? Well, at the first, we need to understand the sea, how it works, what is the problems the sea has with us. The other thing is to love the environment, not just the sea, but whole the environment, because we are dependent on it. It's not just like I love green, so green is fine. The green is important to my surviving. So and when I'm aware of it, I can change my way of living to make less harm. And of course, we need to decide who is ruling this world, who is governing, who is making fishing quotas, for instance, who is setting the savage trading factories, and so on. So first, knowledge. The second, love. And another thing is, at the end, action.
yeah, I agree. But maybe the first question is to all of you, what sea means to you? Is it important for you? How can you see it? Like, what does it mean for you? Like, are you living close by the sea, or are you feeling really close to the sea and marine environment? How do you perceive those topics? So it is an open question, but you're like really all welcome just to comment what sea means for you on a daily basis. Do you walk by the sea? Do you, I don't know, cycle on the cycling path next to the sea, walk with your dog or whatever? How do you use this area? Is it anyhow important for you? Maybe you have some relatives that are dependent on the sea, or you are dependent on it in a way that you really depended with food and anything else. I mean, we all depend on it somehow, but do you feel it and how you feel it? Okay, there are some more questions in the chat. What should you do when you go for a walk and you see a seal lying in the sand? So this depends really where you walk, but I would maybe refer, like in any place you are, this would be good just to check. We all have our cell phones, so to check the local maybe research group or any place you could call that are really focusing on researching those mammals, and report that you see the seal. Definitely, for starters, don't scream, don't run next to it, don't take selfies, and just don't scare it, but like be a friend and like give them their space. This is the first thing. So respect, and remember, it is a wild animal. It's not stuffed, and it's not there just to lie and take pictures. And if it's in a bad condition, you probably will notice, and then definitely try finding online some contact depending on where you live, and call some specialist to take care of the animal. But in most cases, it is okay if you just walk and don't make any disruption with your behavior, and just, take your walk and let the seal have their rest on the beach.
Don't take a risk to be bite.
Yeah. Okay, other questions, maybe? Okay, so how do you use this sea? Because I'm really curious. Do you like a sea environment? Do you live by the sea, or do you travel maybe during your holidays with your parents somewhere? And any water sports, something?
Ye- Yes, I love seas. I love water. It
Yeah.
keeps me alive, and I love to go swimming in summer.
Nice. Okay. And where do you live?
I live in Croatia.
Oh, that's great.
It's Mediterranean.
Mediterranean.
So the most biodiverse sea.
Beautiful sea.
Yes.
Yeah. That's wonderful. Okay, so maybe you have some experience and you can see on a daily basis how your sea is being protected. Are there
Yes.
any? Yes? So what are your observations? Any? Hmm?
Oh, we clean the beaches.
That's great. Yeah, I love it. So you clean them from the plastic and all of the other rubbish. That's great. And is it like a school project, or it's something that you do on your
Yes,
own?
sure.
School. Okay, nice.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay. Yeah. So, Tomasz, you need to unmute yourselves because we cannot really hear you. If you would like to say something.
Okay. Anyone more questions? You got some Croatia team? Or not? No? You raise your finger. Okay, so that's it. Thank you very much for joining us and listening our lectures. If you have some other questions, some issues, you can always call us, write email or so. We always are ready to talk with you and share our knowledge about ocean in general.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Then we'll-